right, everyone, we're here. This has been a busy day in the Plaid Crafts studio. We just finished our Lunch and Learn with Andy Jones on the Let's Paint with Plaid Facebook page, and now we're here at Plaid Crafts Facebook page. A lot of switching of studio sets, and we're so glad that you found us and you're here with us today. Hi, I'm Chris Williams.
And I'm Donna Dewberry.
And together, we've got so much to share with you today. So let's just jump right in, Donna, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
What I'd like to do is first, let's just kind of recap the year that we've shared together. I mean, this is December. This is the time to kind of think about memories created and lessons learned and paintings taught. And so I'd like to do a little recap. How about that, Donna?
Sounds good. And they've been really working it all year along with us, so that's been exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for those of you, if anyone in our audience today is brand new to Let's Paint, because we did have some new followers just an hour ago with Andy in our Let's Paint Lunch and Learn lesson, let me just tell you a little bit about our Let's Paint program. It is a program where Plaid decided that our company-wide initiative was to share our painting knowledge and to teach people how to paint. And Donna Dewberry here is the founder or the creator of the FolkArt One Stroke method of decorative painting. And as part of our Let's Paint program this year, we had Donna come on board with us, and together we created a Flower of the Month program, and it's been so much fun because we welcomed everyone to view the free video lessons, to paint along with Donna, and then to share their work too. And I've been amazed, Donna, have you?
It's been wonderful and growing our group so more and more people see what we're doing.
And I have been so amazed at the talent that is out there.
It's amazing.
If you listen and follow a video lesson, stop, pause it, rewind it, watch it again, it's amazing what you can learn free at home, right there sitting at their kitchen table. So I'm so thrilled to say that I've loved watching everyone grow in our Let's Paint Flower of the Month program. So let's just kind of review and recap, okay?
What we've done.
So this was January, and Lindsay, who's on camera today, is going to get up nice and close so that you can see.
That was one of my favorite.
Was
it? Started off, yes.
You know, each flower, or each month, I should say, has an actual flower for the month, and that is the January Carnation.
Okay, you want to know why it was one of my favorite?
Why?
So many of you painted it. So that was so exciting to me because, like, right off the bat, we're like, oh my gosh, look at what you guys are doing. And I think you guys like the backgrounds and the different vases and containers.
Every month was completely different. Yeah. And I think everyone really liked that one because they liked the delicate little petals that you taught them how to.
So they weren't very hard.
No. And you know what? That's it too. Sometimes the perception of things is that, oh, it's so difficult. I can't draw a straight line, so I can't even begin to paint that. But if you listen and you follow step by step, it really is doable, isn't it?
So there we go, February.
Yes. February, and that is the violets. And violets are so sweet.
I almost said sweet pea.
Oh, no, that's violets. And it's so fun because the colors are bright and vibrant, and the leaves almost look like they're that velvety touch like a real violet has.
And we learned in this one, if y'all remember, how to alternate colors. So we had some darker ones in the back, some lighter ones in the front, but it looked like you have multiple different flowers, but they were using the same colors, just as how we loaded it.
And the beauty of Donna's technique of painting, the FolkArt One Stroke method, is that she teaches you how to properly load your brush, how to mix a light green and a dark green together on the brush at the same time, and with just a few little swooshes, she's able to create an entire new project, and it's just so fun to watch that one stroke method come to life. Okay. So let's move on to the next month. And this was
a watering can. Look at that.
I know, the daffodil for March. And that one, Donna taught a real interesting container, a fun background, and then also how to actually paint the spring flower for March, which is the daffodil.
It's a little tricky but simple strokes. You know, it's like learning where to lay in this trumpet part of the flower. But I enjoyed sharing that with you guys.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then every quarter, after we painted the first 3 flowers, or the first 3 months of flowers, I should say, we did a roundup, and that's what today is all about too. But we did a roundup, and this was the roundup, quarterly roundup for the first quarter's flowers. Again, we're teaching carnations, violets, and daffodils.
And I was worried about putting some of these combinations together, but they all turned out so pretty during the year.
Well, it was a great way to kind of reteach what you had already taught them in the previous month. So I thought that was fun to share that again.
And you notice we did those on the diamond. That's what we're doing.
Yes. This one was so much fun, and we've received so many wonderful comments on this particular flower, Donna.
On the sweet pea. And what month are we at?
We're at April.
April. And it was more of a contemporary background, you know, a tall cylinder canister, a little light muted background. So we really concentrated on different backgrounds, and I think that's what you're going to learn, a different background each time you take one of the lessons. But this again is alternating how you pick up colors and having darker colors underneath and some light, vivid, bright colors, all from the same colors of paint.
Well, and you know, when you look at the sweet pea, you tend to think of violets and pinks and maybe a little bit tints of blue. You would maybe not really think about the red.
I
so
know.
that's like a fun little splash of color in there. Everyone loved.
It is pretty, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm moving on to May. The May flower of the month was a really fun container, and also the fact that it was kind of off the side here rather than full on like our previous month of the sweet pea. This is the Lily of the Valley. These are so sweet, small, and delicate. And that pot was really a fun, interesting pot too.
What I love during this series all year long is the things that Chris and I worked on, making sure that you learn so many different aspects of backgrounds, containers, and then how to put multiple flowers in an arrangement, as if you were picking them from the field and putting them into the containers. Wasn't that fun?
Right,
Yeah.
I think so.
And she taught me all the meanings of all these flowers.
This one is the flower for June, and this is called a peace rose, which is really completely different, a different kind of rose, not like Donna's cabbage rose that you're so popular and famous for.
This was real simple to do too.
And the colors in this was a little different, and Donna actually also, besides the different pot, added a table to this one. So that was a fun one. And now let's show you the roundup for that quarter. This
Look
was
how tall this is
quarter
getting.
2. And again, we're showing you the sweet pea, the lily of the valley, and the peace rose.
And this is really muted. I like the way this arrangement turned out. A muted background, muted colors, and we still have bright, but it's just soft and warm.
And the nice thing about our Let's Paint Flower of the Month program this year is we painted every single project on a 12 by 12 stretched canvas. So when you painted all 12 months, and many people did, I was so glad to see that.
It was nice
you
to
could
see.
literally create your own gallery wall. And as you watch the videos, perhaps you noticed the gallery wall behind us. It grew every month as Donna was painting. We added to it. So by the end, if you've watched Paper Whites for December, you see the whole gallery wall behind Donna. So that was kind of fun. And our quarterlies, we did, again, a 12 by 12 canvas, but we, as Donna mentioned earlier, we did it on the diamond. So that could create our own gallery wall.
So you could have 4 of those diamonds. We wanted everything. Like if you did it all, it would be beautiful hung in your home.
Right. We want you to actually use them and enjoy them.
I mean, they're great gifts too.
So this is July, the larkspur, and I think this one was...
It was bright and pretty in the background.
I think it's the blues.
Yeah.
People love blue and white.
They do.
And the larkspur was one that I think received a lot of comments and a lot of people repainting this one too.
And that's the first one we didn't sponge. It was more of a wash, a watercolor effect. So there again, we're teaching them more technique.
And the inclusion of a little dragonfly was kind of fun with this one.
Real little bug in there.
I know. And a soft muted background or pastels.
But yeah, look how beautiful and bright. And there's a lot of places in your house to put pastels usually.
This is the month of August, and this was the Gladiola. And what a fun, almost kind of cement-like container this one was painted in.
And then the bright, deep, vivid gladiola colors. So gladiolas come in so many multiple colors.
Oh, that's so true.
That we were picking varieties so that you would have variety. But just think, they could be magenta and white, they could be red and white, they could be purple, lavenders. But the whole skill of getting that depth is what you're learning as we work through this.
And this one I think I loved because it wasn't really a container.
You
this
mean
is
the stump?
September. It's not a stump, Donna. It's a rotted fence post. This is the month of September, and Donna shared with us her technique of how to paint beautiful morning glories. And I said, well, morning glories don't typically grow in flower pots.
No.
They grow up vine. And it's a vine, right? So it grows up something. Why don't we do like a rotted fence post? And so.
Looks like a stump to me. What do you think?
And when you watch the video, she
saying
called it.
It is a fence.
She called it everything but the rotted fence.
I said what? I said an old rotted stump, a tree. I don't know.
Oh my. Well, anyway, I loved it. It's beautiful.
And there's our blues again. Look how pretty.
This is the quarterly roundup for the third quarter, and once again, it's got the larkspur, the gladiolas, and morning glories. And you know, typically you would not think to put all of these flowers together in a floral arrangement, but it's so beautiful when you do it like this and just kind of combine lots of techniques.
And I was really surprised how pretty the 3 months happened to just go together.
Yeah, let me try to take those away
I
from
started
you,
saying
Donna.
our pile's getting heavy.
And I know
Isn't
we're
this
not
fun?
done. We're not done showing the whole year at a time yet, but let's make some room for our next quarter.
And this is what we're working on today. Look at that really quick. Isn't that pretty? I know y'all been seeing the preview, but this is what the next 3 for this quarter is going to be today. So,
and I just noticed a comment because I'm trying to follow along on our Facebook page too. That
she's
someone made the comment, Donna, wouldn't it be great as a birthday gift? And that would be perfect because these are the flowers of the month.
And I have so many people that would come in my shop and say, a husband that said, can you paint a clay pot with my wife's flower on it for the month? And we'd look at each other. I know stones, I don't know flowers. So we had to go research because it happened a lot. So it's nice for greeting cards and it's nice for giving a painting.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
So let's continue with our last quarter now. This is the month of October, and marigolds were the flower of the month. And this painting is just so gorgeous with the oranges and the greens.
I love this one a lot because it's a different type of greenery I did. And I just thought, because it's a lot like the Carnation, but yet it was more defined, like you stayed in, pushed down more. But I just loved how rich those colors looked.
Yes, that was a beautiful project and a fun lesson to teach, I'm sure.
I don't know if y'all thought so, but I thought it was really pretty.
For November, which is Donna's birth month.
I only said that 50 times, I noticed.
This is the FolkArt One Stroke Flower of the Month for November, and it is a chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum. And Donna did it in very fun fall colors, and this flower, like many of the others, can be painted in a variety of color combinations, but this one with the golds and...
Yeah, see, we have a different version of the color here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and having a light background made a difference in a dark background.
And
that was a clay pot.
December is all about paper whites.
Now, I love that.
And that is actually a bulb type flower, but this is so fun because it's sweet, it's delicate.
And the glow that shows through. I loved how the glow turned out here. I was happy. And to be honest, I worried about doing that flower. I went, Chris, do we really have to do that flower? But you know what? It turned out fun. It wasn't hard, but I was nervous because Chris likes little itty bitty things and Donna not so much.
So I wanted to make sure that you all enjoyed recapping the entire year with us. Today we're all about doing this particular project that Donna shared with you already, which is the combination of the last 3 flowers of the year. But before we do that too, one more thing I'd like to kind of share with everyone is that all of these projects were created using all of the components that are in the Let's Paint Flower of the Month kit. And I wanted to just take a moment and review that real quickly with everyone. So when you purchase your kit, which is still available on flatonline.com, and you open it up, What an amazing sight that is, Donna.
Yeah, I can tell you because I painted how many?
Hundreds and hundreds of these. With every kit that is sold and purchased, the consumer receives an original hand-painted storage folder from Donna. And I heard through the years, that, or I should say through the months, that many people didn't even use this as their storage folder. Some even cut it up and framed it. And one gal even said she put it in her bedroom, right next to her bed on her bedside table. I thought that was a fun story,
But
too.
it made me happy to think that when you opened the kit that you saw something hand-painted by me for you. So that was exciting.
This is a gift from Donna and autographed also by Donna. And I said storage folder. So when you open it up, what is actually inside there is the packaged reusable teaching guides. And I have a folder here off to the side that I've opened mine. Oops. I guess that one was over there. Well, let's open this one. Sorry. So what Donna does when she teaches...
So while she's opening that, I want you to see that this is going to show you every month, so you can quickly go pick the month that the flower, know what flower it is for the month. And we welcome you with a pretty little letter here and tell you about our program and what colors you're going to receive in there. And
here's the reusable teaching guides. And as Donna was saying, there's one for every month. It's noted at the top, January. This was the carnation, the flower of the month. And here gives you a little message about the meaning of the flower. We have a supply list up at the top. And when you flip each reusable teaching guide over, you get Donna's exact brush size strokes at home so that you can then paint right along with Donna. These are coated, so you load your brush, you practice the strokes, you wipe them off, you practice again, and you're learning muscle memory of how to do those strokes with Donna.
And then we have all the inspiration where I put it on metal and wood, glass, and canvas, so that when you're at home you go, oh, I've got something like that. I love turning trash to treasure, changing something in your house and adding to it.
And why can we do it on so many different surfaces, Donna?
Because it's got this wonderful multi-surface paint in the kit, and multi-surface means exactly what it says. It goes on all the surfaces. It's got like a sealer inside the paint, indoor, outdoor, and it's wonderful. Wonderful, and it's creamy, bright, vivid colors. People say, are those oils? I'm like, no, they're beautiful acrylic.
So we have the packaged paints in here. There is Donna's basic beginner brush set and a sponge that Donna often taught how to create fun backgrounds using this sponge that's in the kit.
And it cleans really easy too. I just like to share this with you that it's really rugged, so you can put it right under the water and just squeeze it out when you're done. I'm telling you, it looks just like that when you start again. So you'll enjoy that, and I'll show you how to use that when we're painting today.
Yeah, and I think the fun thing about this kit is that it is something that would make a great gift at Christmas time, don't you think?
I think if you have grandchildren, daughters out there, if you have a neighbor that's housebound and is a caregiver, there's all kinds of reasons why opening up this kit and painting with the free lessons that you can go back to and watch them all year. This is something that is a very thoughtful, kind gift to give to somebody you love, and that might be you.
And Donna kind of let the cat out of the bag. Yes, I'm going to give this kit away today.
Oh, so, that's not what I meant. I meant you might be buying the gift for you, but I forgot about the...
I'm going to give this kit away today. At the end of today's recording, we will select one winner, and we will post the winner's name after the Facebook live stream is done today.
Awesome.
So be sure and make a comment and let us know what you think about the Let's Paint Flower of the Month program, or what you thought about painting along with Donna throughout the year. And we will make a selection. We'll have one prize winner, and I'll make sure that I get this shipped out tomorrow to you. So hopefully we'll have another fun present for someone for Christmas this year. And besides the 12 by 12 canvases that we painted throughout the year, I want to share with you, you may have seen in October, I had Donna create this project. This is just another canvas, but look how fun this pumpkin is. It's an overall floral pumpkin using, I think, maybe 6 months worth of flower blossoms. So just
I even
shows
put a
you.
teeny bit of treasure gold in there just to excite you guys, even though it's not in there, but it's something new that Plaid has and you'll love. But I want you to see, if you can just real quick, if you don't mind, Chris.
No, go ahead,
I
please.
want you to see I started with the triangle. I talked to you all during the year about the triangle of flowers or the triangle of color. And so that made it really easy for me to lay this out for you. See the triangles? So by the time you did all those triangles, then you fit a few little leaves and maybe a few little blue flowers, little filler. These are from, what is the tall stalk flower that was blue?
That was larkspur.
Larkspur, that's right. Which, when you see them in real life, the larger ones at the bottom look a lot like a little rose. So, but wasn't that fun? And the vivid, deep colors, look at that. That's our multi-surface colors. It's wonderful.
So we did this, and then one more thing that, I'm sorry.
I was just saying, it says low batteries. What's low? Just saying.
One more thing that we did to share this year is we created, I say we, Donna painted for us the flower of the month on a glass ornament. So I have 12 glass ornaments here.
And Lindsay did a beautiful advertisement.
Montage?
Yes, where they're flipping around. But look how pretty. And listen, I love these big ones. Aren't they nice?
So for every single month, there is a painted glass ornament.
Aren't they beautiful? A whole tree of these would be wonderful.
Yes,
but
I
think
think
about
so,
your
too.
loved ones, that you can say that's your birthday flower for the person that you're giving it to. How nice is that? All right, the paper whites. Look how pretty these turned out. I love the gladiola.
This is so fun because it's just showing another way, another surface, and another way. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, I've done a lot of roses over the years, from a red rose for Christmas to a white rose, but the roses are really good and fun. We're running out of battery over here.
All right. Well,
now, isn't that yummy?
thank you for sharing all of this with me,
Well, when
Donna.
I walked in and saw you had that all laid out on that glass tree, I went, oh my gosh, those are beautiful.
Yeah, it's just really pretty. I mean, a big glass bowl full of them would be great. A tree would be great.
And the
a strong
perfect little
garland.
bows. Miss Chris made every little bow perfect. She has patience.
All right. So let's go ahead and do we
we
need
good?
to swap out? Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. Let's go ahead and begin then, Donna. And
Okay.
what we're going to do now is we are actually going to recap one more time, Lindsay. We can share with everyone our project today. Again, this is a 12 by 12 stretched canvas. We're painting it on the diamond or on an angle. And this is the Q4, in other words, the fourth quarter of the year. And again, the flowers that we're working with is October Marigold and November Chrysanthemum, and then the December paper whites. So you want to take it away, Donna?
Yes, I sure will. So this is the thing. Are we going to stay on you, or are we going to be up?
A little bit.
A little bit of both? Okay. Well, I'm going to lay this out here so we can see. I'm looking at the background first, so let's look at that really good. So on this background, I have all the dark because I wanted the white to pop. I wanted the white flowers to pop in here. So, and the light part of the chrysanthemums. So that's, sometimes it's on lighter surface, it's hard to see. So I want to start with the dark in the background, which is our sap green. And we're going to pick up this. If you've been painting with me, this is normal. This is like what you first do. And I love this sponge, this home decor sponge, better than a sea sponge for one reason, is that it's a consistent look when I'm coming around here. And they're not the holes aren't too big. It gives you a nice feel. And having the sealer inside this paint leaves a nice shiny surface. And the thing I like this year most about that is, you know what's going to happen? Is when this is all dry and we start painting, if you have something you're not happy with, you can just take a wet paper towel and wipe it, because the sealer's in there. It gives you a nice background, a sheen to paint on top of. Okay. So what I'm doing is, I don't want the same movement across like this. I want to move around, okay? And what's going to happen here is you decide how dark you want it. And you're going to keep patting it. All right. See, I'm keeping the dark in here. So I'm getting a rich background. So I like to always talk to you about that background. That white canvas is a color too. So it's going to come through and give you lighter tones of the sap green. But it's still going to be all different when we put citrus. So I'm going to use the same sponge. And you notice I really didn't wet the sponge. Sometimes I will take my fingers and dampen it just a little bit. Oops. I don't know where that came from, but I'm going to tap it again. All right, so now look, I'm taking my citrus and I'm going around the edges. Now I want you to do these edges too, but I don't want to get it on our table here, so I'm going to tell you that you need to do it.
Do as I say,
Yes.
not as I do.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that as we go around and see it all. It just, you can decide how much. I know that's noisy.
It almost kind of looks like you're putting a halo
Yes.
around the outside edge of the canvas.
Right. So now what happens is you can decide as you're doing this, since we're going to do it on a diamond, I can come in a little bit if I want. Or I can just keep it really defined on the outside edge. I kind of done both along the way here. Okay, but what's the key? This is what people don't think about. The key is you need to do this while this is wet. If you let it dry or even start to dry and then you're putting on the green, it will lift. So just keep adding all of your ombre or your looks that you're wanting to get. Add them while everything's wet. And you have the dark green and the light green on here at the same time. The sap green and the citrus. Okay, so isn't that fun?
Donna,
All
while
right.
you're finishing that up, let me just share with you that Kathy has made a comment here, and she says her 2020 resolution for the year is to learn all 12 flowers of the month.
Yay!
Isn't that right?
But you know what's the truth, Chris, is by the time you guys learn all 12 of these, I've taught you so many different petals and leaves that you've learned through our worksheets. and
Background techniques
Yeah.
and pots and containers
that
and
you can
leaves.
feel very
Yeah.
confident. You can. And this has to dry for just a minute, but I can talk about the worksheets. But
let's
do we
do
have
that.
any more comments?
Oh, well, why don't you go ahead and do that?
Are you guys being quiet out there and just watching? You can ask us questions. We're live. That's what it's all about. I told Amanda, you cannot be on while I'm on. I'm here with Chris. We're live because we usually have live at the same at 2 o'clock.
Yes.
So, all right. So
Well, it was nice of her to switch. And why don't you go ahead and explain the whole process of the reusable teaching guide?
Okay, so as we talked about this a minute ago, Chris described it all to you very well. This right here is a nice design if you want this to be your first design. You can just paint this project right there, right on canvas, or you can do it on scrapbooking paper and frame it. There's all kinds of things you can do. On glass, think about this on a piece of glass, or you can just do 2 stems. So I want you to think this is a pattern, and if you want to, you can trace that, and then it's ready to go on a project. Then when you're looking here, I inspired you. I was excited. Well, Chris and I went shopping, and we made sure we had glass, metal, canvas and wood on every single project. So now what we're going to do here is, see these little swatches? That's the double load. So a double load means we're putting multiple colors on, but they're not always half and half. So what I want to share with you is it's 2/3 one color on this one and 1/3 the yellow. All right, I think this is moon yellow, yeah. So it's moon yellow and apple red. So, but it tells you right here. It also tells you what size brush. So we're going to get over here. We're going to go.
I'm telling you, it's like Donna in a box when you buy this kit, because
Yeah.
you have Donna's actual brush strokes at home with you, whether you're painting in your studio or a kitchen table, the dining room table, while the kids are at school. You have Donna right there with you, holding your hand, teaching you stroke by stroke.
And I have to tell you, the truth is that people say, well, I'm sitting there and I'm watching you, and I think you're right there, because if you're online with me, sometimes it's live, but they sit there and they go, I'm like, wait a minute, Donna, do that again. But the thing I want you to know is it is like we're right there. And then you have my actual side stroke. Because that's the only thing when you're watching videos, sometimes you're like, wonder like how big was that petal? Well, this tells you exactly how big. And so I want to show you while this is drying a little bit, that we have the double loader here. And it's sitting inside our palette. Can't even talk. Our palette. And then
let's just take it out for just a moment, Donna. Let's just share them. This is the one-stroke palette that Donna was talking about. And this little tool here, which comes with a lid and a little cap for the center compartment, this does just slip right down right down inside the palette, and with a little twist,
it's secure. Now this, I do put the foam plate inside the palette for when I'm doing your backgrounds and stuff. But then I want you to see that out of everybody who learns how to paint one stroke, the one majority of the thing that, I'm saying that wrong, the one thing that people might have difficulty with is the loading process. And because they get muddy. And so this kind of controls you from getting all into, I can go around and see on the palette, like you got into the medium, you got too much of one color. And so this is kind of controlling your load, and that makes it more successful for you to do your strokes. So I'm putting my medium. This is the this is a FolkArt floating medium. I'm trying to think of too many things at once. The floating medium, and instead of water, we're going to use that because water will make it muddy. Then I'm going to put out some the citrus green, and it's like your color wheel, okay? Now what we want to do is we're going to come here and put the two colors next to each other. And like if I use citrus green, I might put white so I can lighten the citrus green or my leaves. And then I've got multiple colors over here, so I think I'm going to go ahead and put out some white. But like I said, I might put white over here with the greens, just a little bit to dip into. I'm going to put some yellows, and let's put over here. I also
maybe some apple red. That's moon yellow.
Yeah, so moon yellow. Sometimes I put the yellows of some kind next to the greens. But this one's going to be with my apple red, so that we can get that and some of the whites. But see, I should have put this right over here. So I'm going to put the yellow ochre over here. All right. So I want to show you, if they're not right next to each other, how we go over and pick up. And I want you to know you can use a lot of different colors and still have enough cubbies and still have room to load and work them in, work the colors in. So what are we going to do first here? What I did do, actually, let's go to the chrysanthemum because we're still pretty wet here. Let's see, do we have any questions out there?
Well, while Donna's figuring out which reusable teaching guide she's going to start with first, let me just answer a couple questions, because I did notice that several people are very much interested in the kit. They're asking where can they find it, how much is it, all of that sort of thing. So let me take a moment and answer that, okay?
Yeah.
So if you go to plaidonline.com/let's paint, that is the landing page on Plaid's website that tells you everything you want to know about the Let's Paint program. This Flower of the Month, the studio lessons with Andy Jones, our Let's Paint Live every first Thursday night every month, all kinds of studio lessons and skill builder lessons. Everything is all on that landing page. If you go there, you'll also click on the Flower of the Month section. It will take you right to that kit, and all the information about what's included in the kit is listed there on the website. And best thing, Plaid has a site-wide sale going on right now, which is 25% off. So it's even better Christmas plans for you.
So it's normally like $149 or something. And
the value.
The value is, and we are having it usually at how much online on your site?
Usually it's around $79 or so.
All right, so 25% off that.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
Again, let me give you that website. It's plaidonline.com/let's paint.
All right.
Okay. All right, Donna, let's take it away.
It's very easy to get it, and they have them in stock ready to ship. They're not waiting on me on folders.
And remember, you get a hand-painted original piece of art from Donna in the kit.
And so I want you, when you open it up, have somebody take a picture of you smiling when you see what's inside. Okay, so we are going to start. The first thing we paint on this is, if you look at this again, I'd like you to think about what would we be painting first. So the first thing I do to lay out my design is I want you to think about what's in the background. So this was tricky because you can't really say, are these in the background or those? But if you look at the stems, they're all behind those paper whites. So what we would do would be our 3 large, side view, and bud for the chrysanthemum. So that was an easy way, see your triangle, easy way to get the stems, and they're bouquets. So that's what we're going to start with. And there is space between here. So that's some of the things I'm going to look at as we lay out this design. I still need that there so I can see what we're doing. Facing me, if you don't
you want
mind.
to flip it this way? Sure.
Just so I make sure that I'm laying it out like we want it. Okay, so there we are. Now we're going to go on here. We don't need the large leaf because I use the marigold leaves. All right, but this is the strokes that you're going to practice, okay? So we'll let this dry for a few more seconds.
I can take that and get it out of your way.
Okay, so what we're going to do is, I do put a center in here, and I'm going to do that on the canvas with us, but what I want to share with you first are the different colors. So I can come over here and pick up the yellow, ochre, and wicker white on my number 12 flat. Now what I skipped is that I wet this brush and I laid it on a paper towel before I started, okay? And then I'm going to come right here and work it in. And I work it in fast and with pressure, because the key is we have to have the inside of this full of paint, all right? And so if you're stroking and it's splitting apart, and mostly people say, my brush won't stay together, it's because we need the paint inside. And I want it at least 2/3 up. So that was picking up paint one time. Here's picking up a second time. And I can just dip white if I need to, if I'm over here or whatever in the palette. Now watch this. This time, I'm going to take time this time to show you, because we have time while it's drying anyway. But I want you to see the first was hard and quick. This one is less pressure, back and forth, less pressure, because now I'm wanting to add it on top. And you could go one more time and just barely make sure that it's blending on the surface. Now, this right here, this loading spot is a great place if I run out of paint, just go right here and pick up because it's already blended, all right? Now, that's the first color I'm gonna use. So let me show you what I've done here. I keep thinking I'm turning it to you. Right here, I'm gonna pull it straight down, and that shows you, do I have a nice blend, all right? So then I'm going to, you can follow the arrows, I'm going to take this brush, I'm going to push down, and I'm going to stand up. You got a question?
And I think we might need to switch our camera view for that one, because we're just seeing the top of your hand. So maybe
okay.
Lindsay could come in closer for the brush stroke.
Okay there, honey. All right, so look, I'm going to push down and stand up. So that's the one that's straight. Now what you're going to do on both sides, see if I keep going over that, I have muddy. So I'm going to come back to my palette, watch this, back over here and grab more paint in the loaded area. Then I'm going to come right here. Now this on the right side, all of the petals are going to go like a daisy stroke and then curve in. I want to get more paint, and on this side, I'm going to push like a daisy stroke and come in from the left side. So there's the right side, there's the left side, and straight in the middle. So after we put this center, see the center? This is right here with you. So you can practice over and over on this. And then, while this is wet, I'm going to go back here, watch this again. I'm going to come back here, work in some more paint, or you can look, you can move this over and move this over, and watch this. When I go like that, it makes it spread and touch. Because people say, I can't reach it. I'm like, take your brush and move it over. It's not a big deal. It works. Okay? So I would just want you to see on here what I was just showing you. I put the center here. Then I'm going to take some strokes from the right side and some strokes from the left side.
And this is all while that apple red center is wet.
Yeah, that's right.
Because then you're starting to carry some of that apple red through the color.
And it gives you you see all the shades I've gotten on there too. So I'm going to use moon yellow. Look, this is made to stay. So what does that mean about wiping off? you need to wipe off often, okay? Now this is what I tell you to do. I tell you just to dampen one corner because that will wipe and the paper towel will dry it off, okay? So these strokes are going to be continually, as we're putting it on there, I'm going to let you see how every once in a while I decide down in the lower part that I'm not getting this red anymore, so then I'm going to pick up a little bit of yellow and red together. So let's get started.
All right, I think our canvas is kind of dry, a little enough to get started.
But keep this there so you're seeing it, so you're seeing it and remembering what you're doing.
And let me just answer a question for Maria. She's asking, did we gesso our canvases before we began painting? And Maria, no, we did not, because we used pre-gessoed canvases.
Yes. Well, that's a very good question, too.
And then also another question, I see a lot of folks are very excited about the glass ornaments we just shared. People are wondering where we found the glass ornaments. And they're available this time of year pretty much just about anywhere. You can, of course, buy them online, but some of your brick and mortar stores like Michael's and Hobby Lobby and Joann's carry these glass ornaments. And I will tell you that you'll find them in different sizes too. This one is, gosh, almost 3.5 inches across, almost 4 inches wide. It was a larger one.
Which is amazing because when I just did my pajama party online, we had little ones.
Yeah,
these are
you'll
nice.
find them much smaller too. So these I actually found at Hobby Lobby. I'll be glad to share with you.
Yeah, they have those big aisles in the middle full of them.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so are we gonna look up here or? First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the one on the right side and I'm gonna put the red for the center. This is apple red with my 12 brush. And I usually use 3/4 a lot, but what we're doing on this is we are doing smaller strokes. All of this project are smaller strokes, so we will use the 12. So what I want you to see is that I have taken and wiped off the red, but we still have red. Now you might decide you want to wash it with, in your basin, and take all that red out, but usually it just gives me a little bit every once in a while. See, I wiped it, so it's fine. But as you're doing pressure, you're gonna see that it's going to pick up some of the red. So look, I'm gonna come from the back. Now, what you wanna see are these petals all up around, and this is the center that you're looking down into. So I might start here and push very lightly, okay, and pull out. And on this side, push very lightly and pull out. All right. Now I'm going to come over here, watch this too. Occasionally I might dip into the moon yellow and then come here and be ready too. So alternate colors. Remember what I was saying, we alternate as we pick up. Now here I'm going to come in a little bit more pressure. Right here a little bit more pressure. And you can decide how far around back that you want to do it, or if you need to bring more paint in here. Now I like to pressure for the streaks, but sometimes it takes away more than I want it to. But look, the beauty of one-stroke painting is you can go right back and stroke right over it. Okay, so every time I go away, I'm picking up more paint, pressure, and stand up. Now, just a little trick is when you're on glassware, we are not putting a ton of pressure because we want the paint to stay. All right, so. Right?
Mm-hmm, that's right.
I thought you laughed for a minute. I'm like, isn't that right? Okay.
You need a little validation?
Yeah. All right. Now I'm going to start picking up right over here. But do you notice I didn't clean the brush? Okay. We got any more questions out there?
Not just yet. I think you're mesmerizing everyone, Donna.
That's a good thing. All right. So I'm going to come in. This is the big one. So I keep thinking this is my smaller one. So I'm going to start coming around here and coming around here. Now you want to balance it as you're coming. And you also want to stage from here down to here. So I got a little big there, so I want to show you. All right. Okay. So I'm going to continue quite a bit picking up color as I go, so that we have really good shades here. Now this is what I like to do. I like to kind of say, all right, how big is this guy going to be? Now, It's about the size of the palm of my hand because this is a large one. So this right here, if you lay this out, I take chalk and make a circle so I can keep within my shape. But this right here is going to give you the shape of the flower. And you can get it all cattywampus if you don't do either with chalk or the paint like I just did. So I think that's going to help you as you're working this out. And then I'm going to come right in here and start. What I want you to see, just remember, white is transparent. Yellows are transparent.
I think you meant the other way around, yeah.
And white's opaque. So I will come in here and keep adding white so that it covers better. But I want the brightness of the yellows. See? All right, so see, I've got another layer. Now I want to alternate the colors. So that white's too bright. I can just come right back over it.
Well, part of the beauty of One Stroke is that you can always reload your brush with additional paint and stroke over what you've previously painted.
Exactly. So if I get too much white or not enough white, look, now the key is when it gets muddy. So you're going to push and lift and make sure that you can see it. All right, so I'm going to come in here with a little bit more red. And I want to see each petal, that's the key. All right, so when you get muddy and you can't see, especially when you're going wet on wet, this is the beauty of One Stroke, is that you can keep doing wet on wet because we've got lots of paint, no water. Okay? So I'm picking up red and yellow. And right here I'm going to start getting more of that pretty color in there. Okay, now see, that's one stroke that you're learning, this comma stroke, and that one stroke gives you all of this entire flower, that one stroke over and over. Okay, so now what we're going to do, remember I'm still here, I'm going to have the petals that come down from below, all right? So they're going to come up. So I push here, and guess what, right here on our practice sheet, you go right here and you practice. And there it is with some red in there, all right? So now this has gotten really deep and pretty red because it's on a dark green background. Okay, now look how pretty. Can you see how nice those streaks are? That's what you want to see. It makes it really pretty. Lindsay, I need you to come home with me. So you can be right there getting those beautiful strokes.
Lindsay Uten is our camera person today, and she does a great job for us, and we always love all the close-ups that she's able to accomplish.
We're excited. All right, so I'm looking for my pretty shape, all right? That's what I want you to think about. All right, now I'm going to do a little bud. We're going to do one little bud, and then we're going to go back and do a side view.
Let's bring this into view so we can
Yeah.
show them what you're saying.
Here's the bud, and it just takes a lot less petals, and even less than that if you want to. You don't even have to do the red center.
And the size is so much smaller too.
Yeah, so large, medium, small. So you can do 3 different color flowers, but have your triangle, and you can do a large, medium, small of 3 different types of flowers, but this is the same type of flower and the same color mix here, okay? So let's go up here and I'm going to put a little bit of red up here. And see, I can't go put my red over here because I need it. I need it to be wet. All right, now I'm going to just lightly go here and wipe off some of that. And I'm going to start over here with the red and yellow and a little bit of white. But I want to work that white in because when the white's there, I didn't like it as much as when I worked it in a little bit more. Okay, so now these I want to put really light. You got a question?
No, I was just going to say, someone's asking Lindsay if we could see a closer view of that comma stroke that Donna's creating. They want to know, Donna, is your brush tilting slightly to the side?
Okay, so look what happens here. I'm going to touch, lean on the chisel in the direction I'm heading because this is a daisy stroke. Now, if I want it to be curve to the side. Let me show you what happens. Over here, I'm touching, I'm still leaning, and I'm curving. Still, excuse me, still on the chisel. Watch this. Touch, lean on the chisel, and curve to the side. So it's the curving motion, but you're still on the chisel. You're still on here the whole time. That's a good question, too.
Yeah. And Brenda, I'd like to answer your question. You're asking if we're going to add any daisies to this grouping. You obviously can do whatever you want on your project. We will not be doing daisies today because this is the quarterly roundup of the last 3 flowers of the month that Donna shared with us, which was the October Marigold, the November that she's doing right now, Chrysanthemum, and December's Paper Whites.
Okay, so right here, I'm just going to decide my size. So I'm going to tilt it, and I want it, that's a little bit bigger than I did originally, but maybe not. And then this one is going to hang over to the side here. Okay, so I'm going to just leave this paint on the brush and then pick up, I went yellow ochre, moon yellow, and some red. Okay, so here I'm going to work these around. Look at this. I want to come right into this flower, into the red. See that?
And that's while the apple red is still wet.
Right, see, I didn't like that one petal I did. So look, there's no mistakes. You just go in and pick up more paint.
Donna, everyone's enjoying you watching you paint.
Thank you. I like that. I like having a chance to do a whole lesson live on Facebook. How fun is that? All right. And we're in the Plaid studio. And I have all these wonderful, talented people sitting around me. How fun is that?
Our painting Mama Bear, love this woman. Donna is the best. Yes, she is.
Thank you, guys.
They love to watch you paint.
All right, so I'm getting muddy here. All right, so let me show you. I'm just going to come back in. The white's not what I need. Okay, look. Push and stroke. So this is, people tend to get a paper towel and start wiping. I don't want you to wipe. I want you to pick up more paint. Is that crazy? More paint. Now, what you can do is wipe off the brush if you want and start fresh. Pressure left, pressure left. Now, this is what's going to happen is if you get this mud, I am going to, even I get mud. See that? All right, so this is when you get frustrated at yourself. Everybody has talent out there. Sometimes you haven't found that talent. And if you practice, and I know a lot of you go, you want to be able to do it right away, but there are a few little tips and tricks that make it possible. Like me, I just clean that off. I don't like that it's still muddy. So I'm going to come right in here and stroke again. I took off the white. There we go. Because I want to see the different petals. And that's what you just got to keep. Every time you're like, okay, I don't even see my petal anymore, that means you need more paint, right? And you're going, holy heck, I have a lot of paint. But look what happens. Now, this is a perfect time of the year to get through the holidays and have some me time and to make some goals. So this is what I want you to think about. I want you to think about even if it's an hour a week, I like to see you give yourself more than that much time. I found the time where I can wake up early and go get a lot done in my studio whenever it's quiet and everybody's asleep and I don't have to do breakfast or dinner or whatever. And
it's so funny you're saying this, Donna, because we just shared that in our Lunch and Learn lesson today, too, with Andy Jones.
Oh, really?
And yes, we did. We said this is a goal that everyone should set for themselves next year is to plan their me time. Right. And the me time is allowing yourself to have that pleasure to sit and paint and learn and practice. And then I added it to it. I think it's also important to everyone to find a spot in your home. You may not have a dedicated studio space, but find a spot in your home, and we were talking about even if it was inside of a little closet where you could add a table or build a shelf or something.
My son did that for his wife.
Yeah.
But you know, Chris, the important thing I tell people, because how many of you go around and have your crafts everywhere and you're not sure, oh my gosh, where is that flower of the month colors, and where, keep them in this nice box. And when you're sitting down ready to paint the next month or the next flower, open up your box.
All
and
your
there's all
dedicated
together.
colors are in one spot.
Or get a plastic Dollar Tree shoebox and it all goes in there. But keep it together, because I have to tell you, I'm looking through all my cups of brushes and I need to do this myself. I've just cleaned up and have my new signature brushes all together, because they're like 2 or 3 in one, and the ones you did for me where you dipped them, marbleized them. And then I'm like, oh, there's another one of Chris's brushes. Okay, so now what's going to happen? You see I've got the nice, layout. Now I'm going to come in here, and we would go back to our stem here, because this is the stem and the leaves we're going to be doing. So when I'm doing this, this is the load I want. So you can choose flowers of your own instead of the flowers I've chosen. But I want you to see that I'm going to pick up the green. I'm going to work it in.
And that's sap green and citrus green that Donna's working with.
And if it's a little too dark, because we're on dark, then see, you've picked this up, you've worked it in, and then you're going to pick up white. Now, I don't want water in this brush. If you've got muddy, it's usually because you didn't dry the water out when you clean the brush. All right? Now, when that happens to me, I'll show you what's happened. Somebody's got something.
Well, yeah, Teresa just said that she's repeating what you had just said, that you love to get up early and go get a lot done. But what she heard you say was that you like to get up early and go get a latte.
Oh. No, but I do like to, my point has been I get my Diet Coke and I'm ready to go. All right, so now I want you to see this. This is what you're learning also. Let me get a little bit more white. I have to keep working that in. But look, I'm going to grab, this is the same stroke that you did there, but staying up on the chisel. All right? So look, I keep coming right here. See, it's just, see, I've lost my color. That's when we don't want it muddy. All right, so when you have the dark color, let me explain to you what happens. All right, if I've got this dark, whatever follows is the predominant color. So if this is dark, you don't want the dark to follow, you want the light to follow. So I'm going to stand up. I'm leading here with the dark because we're on dark. I'm going to get these little buds in here. I'm going to get a little bit of dark green in here so you can see it. And then I'm going to pull, use my little finger steadies me. And if I've got some petite ladies out there that they say their fingers aren't long as mine, they can't do what we're doing. So I'm telling you, I teach my 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds to take their arm and lay this on top of it if you don't think your finger works, and that steadies you guys. Okay? All right. Now,
let's answer a question for Jean.
Okay.
She's asking about the paints, and the paints that Donna is using is the FolkArt multi-surface paints. These are water-based, non-toxic acrylic paints. And when we say multi-surface, we mean that this particular paint will adhere to wood, to glass, to canvas, to metal, to terracotta, many, many different types of surfaces. And there's no need to seal or varnish your project when it's done, because there is a sealer built into this particular paint.
how wonderful is that?
Yeah. And then also, because it is a water-based paint, Jean, to answer your question, is that it's real easy to clean up just by rinsing. Donna's got water in her brush caddy over here, but you rinse it with water, and then you can also clean them at the end of your painting session with a little bit of soap and water.
Okay, now look at this. We're going to practice right here. I think I'm still on.
Yes, you
where
are.
I can take it, push really hard, and stand up and slide. So you're going to stand here, push down, slide, and stand up, till you come there. This is very big, so you could make that in 2 strokes. But we're going to do one stroke on here, because some of these are in the background. Okay, so anything that's in the back, let them see over here real quick, Lindsay. See, they're all back in there, and then these are going to be in front. So I'm going to put some back there so it just fills up nice now. And I don't want it to be an afterthought and go, oh my gosh, I should have put those there, and try to fit them around. Some of those little paper whites would be a lot harder. So look how rich that color is. It turns out really nice. Now look, I'm going to chisel, push down, stand up. All right, and because this should feel like butter, you've got so much paint on here, it moves like butter. Now remember, I'm leading with a lighter color here because I have so much paint on here. The darks fall on behind. All right, I think I did maybe one more here.
That paint's just kind of gliding
And
right
just
off.
glides
there.
like butter. And these don't even need a stem in them, okay?
Now, if it isn't gliding,
You need more paint? You need to come back
or
up.
floating medium.
Yes, but on this, it's so slick because it's got the nice coat underneath. But if you have any dryness, this is what you do. You notice I haven't had to yet because one of the reasons, let me share with you, is that all of these are stroke work. And so stroke work, you should have enough paint on here because we're going to pick up paint often. But if you're going to do, usually when you do these long slender ones, you do need medium. So then I would work this in, then I dip straight into my medium, go like that again, and then what that would do was help it go smooth, like if you were on scrapbooking paper or something. But this, because we have this beautiful sheen background, and I have lots of good layers because of the sponging. All right, so now what I want to do is these marigolds.
Okay.
All right, so we could do either one. You could do the paper whites in here, or you could do the marigolds. But I went ahead and laid in some marigolds, and then I could ponder whether I want to put a few little paper whites down in there. Okay, so I'm cleaning my brush, and we're going to practice this. So here we are. This is the deep red. This is the apple red. And let's move this moon yellow over. I want to clean that again because I want to pick it up right here. So I'm splitting the brush. Now, I don't know if you remember, but what I was saying on some of these is I just want a little bit of yellow, lots of red. So I can pick up more yellow. So when I split this, let's look at this. All right. So when I split this, I'm going to do 2/3 red and 1/3 yellow. But then I'm not splitting when I'm working it in. And if that's not working, I can just pick up more yellow and make sure it's just on the edge, okay? I think that'll help you guys. Then you're gonna stroke there to make sure, but this is a stroke that we're gonna do over and over. See the stroke here? We're gonna go just like that. And I wanna make sure I see red and yellow separate. See, it's a little muddy, so look. All you're going to do is I want to just dip the yellow. There you go. All right. So see, muddy and not muddy. Okay, where did I put this? And be sure to wipe this as we go. You got questions?
I just want to answer a question for Lucy. When we were talking about the FolkArt multi-surface paints, she said she thought she remembered us at one point in time saying that you cannot use this paint on plastic. And let me just clarify that for Lucy.
Yeah.
If it's a rigid plastic or a rigid acrylic, sometimes you see like drinking pitchers in department stores or whatever. If it's a rigid plastic, the FolkArt multi-surface paints will work on that. If it is a flexible plastic, like Rubbermaid or a Tupperware type container, that sort of thing, it will not work on that because the paint does not dry to a flexible finish. Sorry about that. It's real life, and we're here in the Plaid studios, and you may have heard our intercom just went off. So
but it's live. They know.
We apologize.
All right, my lives, the phone in the office rings, all kinds of stuff goes on. People walk in our door. Okay, guys, look at this now. So if I don't have a fresh, bright yellow, then I take and go back and just add some more yellow. I don't think she knows we're here at all.
No, she does. Sorry.
Okay, so Now what I'm going to do is we're going to do the next layer. So you go back to this and look, there's a second layer in there and then a few little ones. And then there's a side view. So these happen pretty quick.
And your layers get a little bit smaller in size too, don't they, Donna?
Oh yeah, that's right. So look, so see, all I'm worried about, this is where your eyes are going to be, only on the outside edge. Do you think I'm worried about that in there? I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about that bright yellow tip. See how nice that is? A really nice bright yellow tip. Wet on wet, you're going right on top. Look how wonderful. Now here again, red is transparent. This apple red is, I love it because it's bright, but you can also see through that. So that's why you have to keep picking up paint, strong, lighter, the yellow, daffodil or this moon yellow.
Let's just zoom in on the finished one more time too, so that they can see
how
how small and how pretty the layers are.
That's prettier than my teaching guides. And I have been saying, oh, I love my work. Listen, I'm not trying to be bragging, but I look at sometimes and I go, wow, I did that. Now, that's what I want you to feel sometime. I want you to look at it and go, I can't believe I did that. I still have something hanging in my house, a big oversized canvas. And when I walk in the front door and look over there, it just still takes my breath away. So that's what I want you to feel. When you're looking at it, think, oh my gosh, I did that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a few little yellow little tidbits in the middle. But you can take a liner, and you have a number 1 liner. Yeah, we do. You got 10 of my most used brushes, which I don't see it here. Okay, I'm just going to pick up some white and yellow. All right. And put that in the middle. Okay, so let's do this half one. Now, I didn't look at this. My triangle wasn't perfect here, but it's because I have a bouquet. And in nature, they're not always either. So I think to make this a little better, I'm going to move this up lightly and move this one down. Okay? Because if I did the triangle, it'd be way over here.
Diane just is purchasing the kit. She's already been on the website, and with the discount, she's letting everyone know
How much?
that it is $67.49, and she's hoping that the kit will include the Donna Painted Roses folder. And Diane, yes,
Of course it will.
Every single kit does. So thank you so much for supporting us and
Thank you.
supporting our Let's Paint program. I know you are going to love, love, love watching the videos every single month and painting along with Donna. Perhaps that's your 2020 goal, like a couple other viewers have said.
I did 50 flowers, and I have to tell you, a book years ago. And when I'd go around to visit, people would bring that book for me to sign. And then they had little bookmarks of every single flower they had already painted. So I'm telling you, that gave them the confidence, they said, to do lots more painting because you learn so much about strokes. You learn, oh, that looks like a daffodil petal. You know what I'm saying? It's like these little strokes are easy to do. You can literally walk through your garden and say, oh, that is like the rose petal. That's the tulip petal. That's what I want you to think when you're, look at that. See how vivid that one turned out? Way better. But you know what? I have to tell you, I don't want you stressing over your painting. This is what I want you to think. I want you to do one petal. I'm worried about that one petal. Now this petal and
One
that petal.
stroke at a time.
Yes, one stroke at a time. All right. So now I'm going to pick up the yellow with some white.
And that's moon yellow and wicker white. And what size brush are you
Yes,
using,
thank
Donna?
you. That's a I forgot all those things. Okay.
I think that's like a number 2 flat that you're working
Yes,
with.
it is, but this is what I want to share with you. This is what happens if I let the water run all that number 2, and look, it went down there and made a mess for me. So let me show you how I fix it. I'm cleaning that all up. Now let me show you. I am picking up clean brush. I need to get the moisture out of the brush. Then I can pick up the moon yellow, work this in, and pick up a little bit of white. Now when I go in, see how bright that is instead of wet. All right. Now look at the difference. This is what I want you to see. This is acceptable. Well, let's see that a little bit closer. That's okay, but look how much better.
It's brighter in color, Donna.
Yeah. But also you can see the petals better over here. Do you see that? I did that just on purpose so they could see.
That was a teaching moment, wasn't it?
Yes. Okay. So let me come in here and do my last little, it's repetitive. The more you do, the marigolds and the carnations, working on all these fun little petals that are not difficult to do. These are a little bit like a loose rosebud. See, really loose. Now this is like a trumpet. It's a side view. And those need to be smaller little petals. All right, and we do the same little trumpet half petal half flower when we do the carnation, just like that. All right, so on these, I'm going to worry about the stem on here. I'm going to come right in here again. I dried this brush, and I have those paper towels right here in my palette so I can dry it and get in there. Now I want to come right in here, a little bit of white on the tip, and I'm going to go right along here, see that? And then pull. And so we don't do the complete trumpet, but we're going to pull that. All right, so now what I want you to see is we're ready for the little white flowers, but I'm going to put some green in here while I've got the green on my brush. And this is also another little trick I'd like to share with you. How are we doing on time?
We're doing great, Donna.
Okay. All right, I also like to take a clean wet brush and then go along here and just pick up with a clean wet brush. If you're out there and you go, "Ugh, I made that really big," just come out here with a wet brush and you can take off a lot of that and make a skinnier stem, and it just really quick, just like that.
Gloria, let me take a moment while you're catching your breath there.
Okay.
Gloria is asking us about the videos. Where can they be found? Can you watch them later on demand? And where are they stored and all of that sort of thing? So
this or the monthly class?
Let me go ahead and answer that question for you, Gloria. So this particular project or lesson today, our quarterly lesson, will be, as well as all of the 12 months, will be viewed on YouTube. You can watch it. First of all, let me talk about the website one more time. If you go to plaidonline.com/Let's Paint and then click on the One Stroke section, it will show you where all of the videos are, and you can actually click on it there, or you can go to YouTube to Plaid Crafts channel and you can find all of the videos there. And yes, they can be pulled up at any point in time free of charge and watched on demand at your convenience. As you're watching and painting along with Donna, you can stop the video, pause it, rewind it, review what you may have missed, and then continue on. So it's all there for you free of charge.
And it doesn't go away. That's what, with some of the other online, they go away. And so it's going to be, instead of you storing it on your computer, it's going to be there on your site all the time.
That's right.
That's a big thing that people have a problem with. They go, like me, us who are not super techie, we go, all right, I downloaded it, now I don't know where it is. Okay, so now what's going to happen here is I'm going to come off of each side and wiggle back. Off of each side, and I wiggle back. Now I'm on my worksheet, I have the dark on the outside because we're on a light worksheet, but remember we're on this dark here. So we're going to wiggle out, and then we're going to come back. Wiggle out. Don't they stand out so nice? And then you can re-pull the stem in the middle and clean it up. Okay, So now what I did is I have one that curls right in here. Because right here, got to keep remembering, this is your bouquet. If we're on a triangle. So then I'm going to come right in here. I can go higher over here. Okay, and we're going to do one more. So I think that was a little bit light. So I'm going to come right here. It's going to be more dark in the middle, working it in. So I picked up the paint, then I work it in. I'm going to pick up some white and work it in. Okay, and then you're going to keep every once in a while, after you've got this loaded well, you're going to only go get a little teeny bit of white each time, and you already have plenty of the other green on here. So that's a little too much white. I like it when I can show you another little tidbit there, look. So these actually were smaller and got a teeny bit bigger as you went. Now I took this from an actual real flower with the real leaves. So we had marigolds in our garden because they kept the bugs away. I just don't remember how pretty these leaves are.
They often say that a marigold is a flower that you should grow when you live where there's lots of deer too.
Oh.
They say sometimes deer don't eat the marigolds.
Oh, so they stay out of the garden?
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Well, you have deer, so that would tell you. But they don't bother you, do they?
No.
Okay, she just has birds in her house. She had a little visitor show up. Okay, now let's go up here, and I'm going to put the stems that are in the back. All right, and so we're almost done. I hope you're enjoying some of the lesson I'm teaching, and hopefully I've taught you something that you hadn't heard before, because sometimes when you're concentrating on painting and you're doing a lesson, you might not catch something that's pretty important.
Lori Wilson, I will answer your question at the end of our video today. She would like to recap what's in the kit. So we'll pull that back up before we finish today.
All right, so you want to get it with a 25% off. You want to get it when it's a good gift for you, good gift giving time for you to give to somebody. And I'm just going to touch out a little bit brighter white in those areas. Okay. So I kind of look at all the same color palette, but now these white are going to just pop. Look how pretty.
Yeah, let's show them the finished one more time.
Look how that white pops. Now see, I got a darker green, so I had a lighter here. But so, you know, as you play around, I didn't really put white with this. I did more of the bright green, the citrus green. But now there's tall leaves in the background, and then the little paper white blossoms. So
and they're so sweet and tiny and delicate. I just think they're beautiful.
Yeah, let's see if I can do that small. Chris really loves small painting. I think it's therapeutic for you. It's not so therapeutic for me.
I think painting is therapeutic for everyone. It's all about that me time and enjoying.
Yes.
And I always say when I have a paintbrush in my hand, World War III could go on and I would never even know it.
I know, that's great. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I kept this little 6 brush for the very center, and I worked on the outside petals. Where's our guide? Right here. Okay, so what we're going to work on right here, something that you'll find out with a lot of the flowers, I think I'll put it at Lindsay because they can't really see, is that there's quite a few flowers like orchids and gladiolas and paper whites where there's a triangle. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then you rotate and put 4, 5, 6 in between those. So it makes it simple to lay out. And then we put this little blossom in the middle, okay? So we practice on here, because you know what? When you're practicing on here, it's gonna help you figure out how hard to push and when to lift. So it's my actual strokes, like Chris said, it's Donna in a box, and I'm with you. So be nice to me, okay? When the first time I was at a painting show and they said, this gentleman walked up, and we're from Florida. We don't have basements. And he said, I'd love to take you home and keep you in my basement. I went, okay, that's scary. But he said, my basement's the nicest place in my house. So I've seen both, and I'm not sure about that. But anyway.
So you're loading your brush with wicker white and just a little bit of floating medium.
A teeny bit of medium, all right? So sometimes I will do this on a paper plate. So that, but if you have room, then that's good. All right. Now I'm going to show you right on here because it's going to show better than me being on the guide. All right. So I want you to see that you've got to stay small enough. And I'm just going to keep picking up white. Now remember, I've got to come right here and do my triangle. So if you think about that, like when we do our 5-petal flowers, we make a gingerbread man. When we do daisies, we make a clock. When we do these, we have the triangle. Now look what happens. We very carefully come out here. Now what's important about what I'm showing you right now is that I am with a 10. I should have picked up my 8 probably. An 8 or a 10. I should have read my, this has actually even a 12 there, but it depends on what size you want to do them. All right, so then I'm going to do a couple more, and I want you to see something. These are, oops, that picked up a little bit of yellow. What happens on this is I am not putting pressure. Now how I pushed when I was doing some of those other strokes, like the big comma stroke, this, I'm staying all the way up on the chisel. I'm all the way up. I slide out to a point, I need to show you that. I'm starting here, I'm going all the way up to a point, reverse direction of the bristles, and pull back. And that's how I was doing these leaves too. I wiggled up and then came back. So look, slide to the point, reverse, slide back. See, I think what I like about these little petite little flowers is that they're so striking when they're all done. And they look really pretty. Look, I lost my color there. Now, when I say I lost my color, I don't have the good white ridge. So every once in a while, I did not go to medium every time. But so this is crisp, and then start getting muddy. All right? So then I would go wipe it all off and start picking up color again. So let's do a few more in here, and then we'll do the center. And you got more question? Oops, Donna forgot. I need my triangle.
You need your triangle. Do as I say.
I know. Any more questions, baby?
No, I just have a couple folks saying they love the multi-surface paints, and Maria even threw in that she loves the glitterific, FolkArt glitterific paint, which is always so fun, especially this time of year.
Okay, get some color shift, guys. I did a rose with color shift, and people just loved it, and it was so easy. And as you're using, if you haven't used color shift before, tell them about Flash.
Well, FolkArt Color Shift is a new paint that came out this year, and it's really a phenomenal paint in that we went out and actually researched in the automobile industry and to be able to formulate this paint. And if you think about those cars that when they drive past you, at one point they might look like a deep plum, and then they pass you and then they're more like a dark cherry, or there might be a metallic sheen to it. That is what this paint does. Color Shift has a paint that has color shifting abilities. It works great, especially if it's on a dimensional curved piece, so that when the light catches it, you can see flashes of color.
And I have started doing strokes with it. I have stroke steadies, and one of the stroke steadies we did roses. And I used the purple and purple flash, lime flash, and aqua flash. It is the prettiest. It is so pretty. Okay, so there's me a cluster. The key thing that looks really good is one of these that are tilted downward, all right, or sideways. If you have a side view, let's do another side view maybe, because I know I did one here. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my smaller brush.
I do have a question for you, Donna.
Okay.
How often do you use the floating medium when you are painting on a project?
On this you saw I didn't, mostly because we did all small strokes. But I'm using floating medium with the roses and the big leaves and the vines and tall, slender leaves. I use it a lot. So this is the thing. I don't want you using it more than every third or fourth stroke, because if you use it all the time, then you have a muddy mess. And I'm always going, stop using so much floating medium. So whenever you feel, the magic is, whenever you feel like it's dry and dragging. Now, this is what happens when it's dry and dragging and you go, I've got paint dripping off this brush. So what's my problem? Sometimes if I have pink on one side and white on the other, and the white's all dry, then sometimes you just need to dip that little teeny bit of white corner and work it in, and that is just missing right there. That's if you already have tons of paint on your brush, okay?
I think when you use the floating medium, is a lot of times you have to consider your surface too and how the surface is prepared. So let's say you were painting directly on an unbase coated piece of paper mache. That paper is going to be absorbent, so it will grab the paint. So if you need those strokes to flow longer or smoother, the floating medium works great on that type of thing. So think about how your surfaces are prepared too.
An oversized canvas where you're doing big open leaves.
Long strokes.
Long, slender strokes. Okay, now I'm doing all citrus green on the 6. Now 12 and the smaller brushes. I've learned to load them all with one color and side stroke. This is side stroking. Side stroke right there next to your second color, and you'll be a happy camper. When I used to try to double load these little guys on TV, I was not happy. So now let me show you what happens. I need that white again. So these are the inside petals. And you're going to go back to your worksheet and you're going to stroke these. I'm going to keep picking up white. See, it's that limey citrus green that gives you a really bright, you want to make sure that you can see those petals, because then all we do, while you're close, let me show you. All we do now is I took a little green, sap green dot right in the middle, okay? Then, because there's all these little parts of this little flower, this itty bitty flower. All right, then I do a straight stamen coming out of that. And then
And that stamen was what color, Donna?
Well, I'm just having problems because I can't find my liners. I don't have one liner in front of me. What happened to me? All right. So it was sap green, moon yellow on the chisel, and then with a liner, which I must have dropped it, I'm going to just dot that white dot. So can y'all see that? So citrus and citrus green and wicker white, sap green little dot, little stamen that's just moon yellow, and then a dot of white. And on these little side view here, I'm going to go right in here. I might put another petal back over this, but I want you to see the inside of this. All right. And we're going to come right in here. Since it's a side view, I do a little side one. See that? So you can still see inside there. All right. So now I'm just going to fill those in there.
Donna Kieran says she loves your work, and Margene says, as always, you have made One Stroke wonderful. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, thank you guys. We should. It's nice to have this so close to Christmas. Chris, you and I planned this perfect.
This is your Christmas gift to everyone, isn't it, Donna?
Yes, it's so fun. because I know you guys are out there watching, and you'll watch it if you were working. So many people said they were working and they couldn't be watching it live, which is fine. And you can replay and replay. How fun is that? Oops. That wasn't my brush, was it? So this is what I tell you to do. I go around. It makes it go smoother if you go ahead and put all the petals and around when you can like that, and then come back and put all the centers, because look how much quicker
Almost
that goes.
assembly line work versus
Yes.
completing a flower at a time.
Which you couldn't do on these, but you could. It didn't make sense on these either, but it does on there. Okay. So,
It's beginning to look really, really pretty, Donna.
thank you. I know it's not Chris's fault, but I've been painting for 3 days miniature stuff. Just so I can get a lot on a worksheet. So, meticulous little stuff. All right. So they're even pretty like that, but isn't that kind of fun? So the bouquets are different, but I still want you to see that both of them, and when you guys do yours and show them to me, they all have a beautiful, unique look, and that's the beauty of it. One stroke painting, I love it that you can see, oh, that's one stroke, but my favorite comment is the thing I like most is it's not Donna Dewberry, Donna Dewberry, Donna Dewberry. It's yours. You create your own. Now look at the difference. This one was tight and less, and this one's just open more. All right, and so.
Yet all of them were completed with the same instructions, the
Yeah.
same reusable teaching guides.
Same colors.
Same colors. And it's just so fun to know that everyone then can create their own look using these 3 reusable teaching guides.
At the convention we were at Penner's, all we did was paint that one flower, and that was the class, and they were so happy.
They were.
Yeah.
Let's take a moment. I have a couple things. I noticed a few comments, and
Okay.
I know I missed several questions. So do know that we will go back and watch them all over again, and I'll try and answer everyone's questions if I missed it here during the live. But I do know that there were a couple people, and I think Lori was one, that said she'd love to know again what was in the kit. If you missed that section of the video, know that you can then watch this again on demand. You can replay it and watch Donna paint the gorgeous painting all over again, and listen to all of the helpful tips and techniques that she shared with you, as well as what we shared with our stack full of canvases here that we reviewed the year. This is the Let's Paint with Plaid FolkArt One Stroke kit for the year, and when you open it up, every single kit has a hand-painted rosebud folder autographed by Donna, and I'm referring to this as a storage folder. And what are you storing in it, you might ask? Well, there's a little welcome letter here, but then we're storing all of the reusable teaching guides, and I have a folder open here so that I don't open the seal on this one. But in the folder, you're going to find the reusable teaching guides for January Carnation, for February Violet, for March Daffodil, for April the Sweet Pea, for May the Lily of the Valley, for June a Peace Rose, for July the Larkspur. That's a beautiful one. For August the Gladiola, September the Morning Glory, October, which we did today, the Marigold, Chrysanthemum for November, and the Paper Whites for December. So all 12 of the reusable teaching guides are located here in the kit that will be featured in the gorgeous hand-painted folder that Donna creates for each and every one of you. Also in the kit, you receive, this is just a little welcome letter, you receive all of the paints that are needed to paint all 12 months worth of flowers. And again, this is the FolkArt multi-surface colors. And Lindsay, maybe you could show them the colors that are on the shelf right there.
That's what's in that we use for this month.
Yes. And then there's more colors too, because Dioxazine Purple is not up there, and a few other colors. So that's really fun that all of the colors are in the kit. And you also receive all 10 brushes
My value pack, yes.
of Donna's Beginners One Stroke painting brushes, and these were the brushes that she painted and demonstrated with today. And also the little sponge, which I'm sure Donna's already got in her water over there, but that was what she used to create the backgrounds. Once you purchase this kit and have all these supplies at home, it's like I have said or jokingly earlier, but it's the truth. You will have Donna in a box ready to paint stroke by stroke, because you can watch the free videos that are, again, you'll find them at plaidonline.com/let's paint, and you'll also find them on YouTube. Watch the videos, paint along, and you're going to have a whole year's worth of flowers to learn with Donna. Another comment I want to share, and Donna, when you get a moment, you're signing your name. I'll wait till you finish. That's a very important part of painting, is learning how to sign your name and add that to.
Yeah.
It's a finishing touch, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. Donna, I need you to share your shirt, because there were several comments. People were commenting about our shirts that we're wearing today. Donna is modeling our Let's Paint with Plaid Flower of the Month.
All flowers are there.
Yeah.
And guess what? I don't like that. If you're small, that's fine. But I like to be roomy, so I get a men's shirt, okay?
Yeah, and then I have the Let's Paint Studio Lessons shirt on, and both of these shirts are available on through Amazon. So we'll include the link to this at the end of our video, so that people will get a chance then to order your shirts too, and maybe even gift one for Christmas.
Okay, I see a lot of people asking about what's next, and guess what? It's not time yet, she says.
No. Donna came here telling me that we're going to tell everybody what we're doing next year.
Yes, we are.
There were lots of questions in the queue also, that people saying that they've enjoyed the Let's Paint program this year of FolkArt One Stroke, and they're wanting to know what we're going to do next year. Well, I can tell you our program has been very successful. Everyone has really enjoyed it and has followed along and painted with Donna and learned so much this year from you.
So there will be a next year.
That's
there was
true.
any doubt.
That's true. So we've been very, very busy behind the scenes working on things, but now is not the time yet to tell you exactly.
You were going to die. You were going to die. If you thought this was good at all, you're going to die. That's all I can say. It was amazing.
Should we leave it with that tease? I don't know. We will be announcing. I want to invite you all to be a member of the Let's Paint with Plaid Facebook group. You're watching right now on Plaid Crafts Facebook page, but join our Let's Paint with Plaid Facebook group, because that's where you're going to find some of the most update information about what we're planning for next year.
And she can keep me quiet.
I got to keep a great big piece of tape over her mouth.
I just told everybody, well, they have to do it today because it's only 2 weeks till January, but so I don't know all the mysteries of everything.
Sometimes Donna speaks before she asks, can I speak?
So I was wrong, but I tricked you. You got here to watch, right?
And remember, at the end of the video, those of you that commented, we're going to spin our wheel and we're going to find the winner that I'm going to ship this kit out to tomorrow. So.
Yeah, she's the hostess with the mostest.
Thank you all for watching today. I hope you enjoyed our roundup of the year of Flower of the Month, as well as our last quarter roundup today here with Donna. So
I just want to say one more thing really quick. I have to tell you that I'm not even asking permission, but because I have to tell you.
She's elbowing me.
That Chris had the concept of this amazing year of doing the Flowers of the Month. And she inspired me to be able to make all these fun projects. We worked together picking out surfaces and making it happen. And why I'm saying next year is amazing, because I didn't think she could top her concept, but her concept for next year is going to blow everybody away. And then I got a hold of it, and I blew you away too. So you got two of us here. But I just want Chris to know how blessed I am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
And
Donna.
you guys have a great holiday.
Merry
And know we
Christmas,
love
happy
you.
holidays, happy Hanukkah. We wish you all a wonderful time, and we look forward to seeing you again next year.
Thank you, guys. Share this video.
And let's
Be quiet.
paint.
Let's paint. I thought she was going to tell me, be quiet. Let's be quiet.
Let's paint.
Let's paint.